COVID-19 has given an unexpected jolt to the world economy. Several countries have suffered financially, and only some of them are on the recovery track. The book which we will be reviewing right now was written before the impact of the COVID-19 coronavirus. So technically, it is a pre-COVID-19 assessment of the state of the Indian banking sector, and it comes from none other than former RBI Governor Urjit Patel. Hi, this is Gautam, and for today's episode, we'll be reviewing Overdraft by former RBI Governor Urjit Patel. The book is divided into three parts. The first is the presentation of the problems of the Indian banking sector. Second deals with the different attempts which were taken to resolve the non-performing asset crisis. And third part deals with parallel issues which intensify the NPA problem. The book shines in its underlying current that it doesn't pin the blame on a particular individual or a political party or a specific policy. Rather, it tries to understand the problem. From the years 2010 to 2015, there has been more lending from the leading government banks and the private sector banks. The author presents this argument by looking at the bank credit to GDP ratio. So in the graph, we can clearly see that there has been more lending from the leading institutions in this time period 2010 to 14. Once the presentation of the crisis is complete, then he delves into each and every attempt which was made by the government and the Reserve Bank of India in solving this problem. So he takes up the leading one, starting from the asset quality review, which was done in 2015. As AQR or asset quality review was more of an honest assessment, first where you recognize the existence of the problem. Then comes an important reform, the Insolvency Bankruptcy Code of 2016. All the measures taken until 2016 and even early 2017 did not really close the problem. The primary reason being the fact that whenever a company when a company takes a large large credit and is unable to repay the loan, whenever debt restructuring measures were initiated or several lenders, the joint lenders forum was present, they tried to go for liquidation proceedings. There was no proper timeline in which the proceedings are to be completed. It led to more and more litigation which prolonged the problem rather than closure of the problem. This particular issue is overcome in the year 2017, where RBI is vested with the power through an amendment that RBI can initiate insolvency proceedings against a particular company. And the second measure being a proper time frame, 180 days and then 180 plus a maximum of 90 days for resolving a particular issue. And he shows by data and graphs, that resolution has definitely seen an uptick in 2017 and some months of 2018. But when things begin to settle down, they unravel again when the issue is taken up to the judiciary and again to the Supreme Court, and you have the many of the proceedings which were taken up by RBI considered to be not with consonance with the norms. And the Supreme Court of India states that an individual has the right to pursue his own business, and this leads to more time for appropriate action. So once you do not have the same timeline and you have several institutions, you have a decision taken up by one court, then you move to your National Company Law Tribunal, then from NCLT, then you again move to the Supreme Court. So again, the time gets prolonged. Once the time gets prolonged for every single financial case, then the issue of NPA never gets resolved at all. The author points out a very important condition which is seen in India. He states, as long as government banks are seen as tools for the government of India's fiscal consolidation measures, rather than operating for the health of the banks themselves, these issues will never get resolved. There is also an honest assessment of farm loan waivers, and the question that when we go for farm loan waivers, is it really helping the larger farming community? So if you're interested in economics or at least the banking sector in general, this is definitely a book you should look through because it provides not just arguments, but the arguments are supported with the required data. So that ends the book review with refer to this non-fiction book. So at least the next episode, I will meet you with the Kerala book list. That's it for now.